Pisces. Welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot and welcome to your cards for July. Wow, July is a pretty amazing month. A couple of the bigger things, there's a lot of Mars masculine energy and drive this month. The tricky thing about Mars in July is that he's just getting things started. So he makes a series of squares kind of all month with Mercury in Cancer. This is where frustration can really come to a head. And especially as Mars makes his way very quickly through the sign of Aries. Not that he's going to be out of Aries soon, because Mars is going to stay in Aries for 6 months, but he's moving much faster than his typical speed right now. And he's going to move very fast through the sign of Aries up until the end of August, and then he stations. And then he's going to go back throughout the whole sign, go direct, and go back through. So he is actually in your second house from now until January of 2021. We have a lot to learn with this transit, Pisces. There's a lot of strengthening that can come from this. But the first part of this is when Mars bumps up with Chiron. And Chiron is kind of this place within all of us of these really deep wounds that we tend to operate from in a very unconscious way. Sometimes these wounds can include karma that we bring in from other lifetimes. And when Neptune is retrograde and Venus is still in her shadow and all of the other planets are in retrograde as well, we're still dealing a lot with past issues. Clearing out things that we probably thought were gone, that we were over, that we've healed and worked through. And they come to a head in the month of July. They kind of peek out and say, hey, don't forget, we got to work on this. Mars in your second house is going to give you a tremendous leg up going into the new year. And honestly, it's going to do wonders for your self-esteem, your self-worth, for setting those boundaries that Pisces may be dealing with more so than usual, because you have Neptune in your first house. Now, Neptune's been there for a long time, and it's your home. But it also creates these places in our life where we can create illusions. We could truly believe in sometimes the wrong people. But it's nothing that we should take personal. When we come up on relationships or situations that are unfortunate, we have to realize how truly blessed we are to have dealt with that loss, to have dealt with those hurt feelings. And Chiron's going to come through, and he may hurt your feelings, or you may be in a position where you have to hurt other people's feelings. This is not so negative, and we don't really have to get stuck in this place where we feel guilty, where we feel like we have to let people down, and certainly where we take other people's journeys personally. If you're waiting on relationships or jobs that aren't coming through, it's really important that you don't look at it like I'm not good enough, or I didn't try hard enough, or the good things never happened to me. It's certainly not that situation at all. We have to take the rejections, we have to take the hurt feelings, we have to take the being triggered as an opportunity to get to know ourselves better, to get to know our weak spots and how to strengthen ourselves. This is a time when we can kind of grow thicker skin, and that's certainly apparent in your reading with the bottom of the deck being the Strength card. card of Leo. There's a lot of Leo energy coming through in the month of July for you. The sun will move into Leo in the middle to end of the month, and the focus can be returned a little bit on, work, on routines, on day-to-day issues, getting the yard work done, kind of looking back and appreciating the things that you have and a feeling of being grateful. There's a lot of strength that can come from sort of an evaluation of where you've been, how far you've come. There's a lot of confirmations coming your way. But we're still dealing with the past. Fourth house. This is coming through for a lot of people, and it is a constant reminder that there's so much Cancer energy. Right now, the sun, Mercury retrograding through Cancer, and the sun in Cancer in the beginning of the month. There's an element here of home, of family, of stability. Where are our roots? What do we want to plant? What's holding us back? There's a breakthrough heading our way, but we have to see the roadblocks first in order to strategize how to get around them, how to knock them down. And this is a month when things certainly get exposed. Eclipse season. It's going to change the foundations of who you are. First house, the body. Now, when I talk about sixth house Leo season, this could also talk about your health. First house, also your health. If you are having health issues of any kind, you can see breakthroughs coming through this month. You could see maybe where an alternative maybe is starting to help you. If you are realizing in the month of July that a lot of your emotional issues are leading to, physical symptoms, physical illnesses, this is a great time to address that. I urge every Pisces to turn to maybe some alternative healings, look into Reiki, kind of explore that. Massages, acupuncture, a new yoga routine. These are things that will really be healing for you. There's also a lot when Mars comes out and things are this fiery and this heated. There may be the need to physically have a physical outlet for all of that energy. So maybe going out and running, just really finding a way to channel some of that pent-up energy. And there may be things coming back, fourth house, first house, that could even make you feel really angry and out of sorts. And the body doesn't want to trap that in. So things like yoga, acupuncture, that kind of stuff can kind of open the flow, open the chakras, and allow you to kind of purge that energy out instead of holding it in. Really beautiful cards this month because you're coming out as the Emperor. Again, Mars in Aries in your second house. You're starting to really take control of things. Get things under control. And next to the Emperor is the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Swords. So with this, I'm also brought back to physical symptoms. And Pisces, I just want to say, and it won't be for everybody, but pay attention to your environment, to your friends, to the people that you have around you, because they may be affecting you in negative ways. They may be draining you. My Queen of Cups card especially coming out next to the Emperor, is when you need to take control of your own self-care. You could be feeling really depleted, and yet the Mars energy will make you feel like you have to keep going. It could even be where you're not getting enough sleep because the amount of projects, the amount of work is piling up, and you're so hyper focused on achieving goals, on getting things done, that you're not taking care of yourself. If you have others around you, maybe bosses, husbands, partners, they may come across as somewhat demanding of you this month, and there's a real danger of spreading yourself a little bit too thin. But the Queen of Cups knows. She knows how important her care is. She knows when to take a step back and fill up her own cup. But the problem is, when people are demanding so much from you, you may need to speak up. You may need to let people know that you're important too, that your needs are important as well, that time for yourself isn't, it's not a gift. It's not an award. When all of the work is done, maybe you can allow yourself 15 minutes to take a bubble bath. You can't look at self-care that way. It has to be number one for you, your body, your vessel. If you want to achieve the really wonderful things, then you have to be aligned with your body as well, and looking at your health all around. You have, like I said, that 6th house sun. It's going to point out and make things obvious in where you're slipping. Maybe there's weight gain that you're unhappy with. Maybe that weight gain chips away at your self-esteem, and suddenly you feel like you're not as worthy of love as you could be if you felt better about yourself. The Emperor says it's time to put yourself first. And the Ace of Swords says you have to tell the people that you love how imperative it is that this becomes a priority. I think that the more the Pisces focuses on their body in July, things just start to become clear. Maybe if you're lost in a, Neptune sort of haze where you can't really understand what's going on, confusion can lead to fear, can lead to bad habits, and really a better way to channel that energy is through physical activity, is through paying attention to the signs that your body gives you. If you are around certain people, if you're starting to date somebody and you realize that you're getting very real physical symptoms when you're around them, stomach aches, headaches, feeling exhausted, pay attention to those signs. If there's people around you that are sucking the energy out of you, you have to be really vigilant in that before it starts to actually make you physically ill. Now, I say that because there is a little bit of tricky energy around you. King of Cups and the Queen of Cups, and I really like, because between the two cards is the Nine of Cups. So, if you are in a relationship with somebody, and this is where I say things are going to get a little bit tricky, there is a connection here. There is a good match. Now, if you are single, not dating anybody, not dealing with anybody, this could be a masculine figure in your life, like a sibling, a brother. The King of Cups can represent sort of this unconditional love of self. It represents compassion, nurturing, and forgiveness. So if we're not dealing with anybody else in our life in a relationship like that, then this could definitely represent, a boss or somebody who's very important to you, an older brother. Usually my kings are older people, people in our lives that bring wisdom. It could also be where you're starting to really balance that masculine and that feminine, and it's cups. So it's in regards to what you give to others and how important it is to give back to yourself. You cannot give from an empty cup. So what others may view as selfish, like joining, taking the time, maybe you're at home with kids and summer is a little bit more complicated than it has been, and you're doing a lot of the entertaining, like the pressure's on you because there's less activities that they can be doing, and you sacrifice and sacrifice. Pisces are really good at that. They don't have a lot of boundaries, and they can love truly and unconditionally, but they could also give too much. And when you give and give and give, people around you just expect that flow continually. It's just part of human nature. It's like a faucet. You turn it on and you expect that the water will run until you turn it off. And suddenly what happens when somebody goes and they turn a faucet on and no water comes out? Oh my God, what are we going to do? Like the panic sets in, and that might be the situation that my Pisces are in right now, where other people are depending on you so much and you're just really running on empty. So if you can talk to your partner and say, I need a little help, I need a little time, I'm going to sign up and take this yoga class 3 nights a week, I'm going to invest in me, because investing in me is going to give me more patience, more devotion, more appreciation. It's going to raise my vibration. When I feel better about myself, I can give more to the people in my life. King of Cups and the Seven of Swords. Sometimes this can be an energy, if you are getting into balance with that King of Cups, if you're working on elements of yourself, starting to really become emotionally intelligent, right? Like that's what these transits are about. And you've got 5th house, 11th house transits going on. So there's an emphasis on, and it's no surprise, center of the reading, the 9 of Cups. What is it that you want? There's so much potential for the dreams to come true. The danger is not knowing what to ask for. The danger is not asking for it. This King of Cups, he could watch other people kind of flail in their emotions. Mars is going to hit this Chiron, and every one of us is going to feel it. It'll all be in different ways in different areas of our lives, but nonetheless, there's going to be, at the very least, this really intense feeling of vulnerability. It's kind of like hurting. It's kind of like where words or objects can kind of hit up on the Achilles heel. It's going to point out things that we didn't realize still had this emotional control over us. King of Cups is our emotional control. It's our emotional intelligence. So you may be witnessing a lot of people in your life allowing their emotions to kind of dictate and control their vibration. Either they're really, really high, really, really low, kind of all over the place. When Mars is in Aries and Mercury is retrograde, there could be a lot of misunderstandings leading to like major dramatic meltdowns. People are just triggered, right? Like you see it in the news, you see it everywhere. People are getting fed up, and they're talking, they're speaking, they're arguing, they're fighting. It's all coming to the surface right now. And masks are coming off. That's what happens. You start to really see people for who they really are. You know, it's really hard in this energy to play nice. I think a lot of people are going to be caught up in their own kind of selfish thought processes, and everything is going to bump up against our ego. And you as well, things are going to bump up against your ego. And you have to realize that you have a choice. It's always better to kind of hold your breath. It's always better to not react, right? If you react out of those emotions, Seven of Swords, you could really sabotage yourself. If you have people around you and you are in this emotionally stable place, you could really trigger other people. They're going to want to poke you harder. They're going to want to know, why are you so calm? Why are you so cool? Why are you so collected? You are being a grown-up this month. You are getting yourself out of situations that don't serve you. If somebody is constantly taking, and not giving, if you sense other people are lying to you, you're just not going to put up with the BS. Absolutely not. The Emperor does not waste time. He has no time for this. He knows how important his self-care and his emotional well-being is. He knows that if you allow people to take too much from you, then you can't keep yourself alive. You can't keep yourself physically healthy. You can't keep yourself mentally healthy and still have these situations going on in your life. Now, the King of Cups, the Nine of Cups, and the Page of Pentacles. You may be waiting on this King of Cups to make an offer. You may be waiting for somebody to confirm your value in some way. Now, going back to the story that I said about, married, you have kids, you tell your partner, I really just need a break, I need to do this more. You're still setting up a scenario where you have to rely on someone else to allow you to have this time. The King of Cups can be tricky because of this. Now, you could have a partner in your life that's kind of going through their own stuff. Like I said, we are all going through our own stuff right now. And we're all being a little bit selfish. Mars in Aries can be a selfish, this has got to be about me. But when we're all in the it's about me mode, egos can clash. There could be drama. You could piss people off. People can hold resentment. This King of Cups, if it is you or if it's somebody that you're dealing with, I think they have a lot of forgiving to work on. I think that they have a lot of balancing out with what they can provide for you. And this is where Pisces kind of steps in and draws this boundary. And I love it. I love these two cards because there's an ending to the self-sabotage. If you are in any way, shape, or form sabotaging yourself, even if this is only about your health, even if you realize that you're not taking the time to kind of prepare a healthy meal, make yourself a nice salad, if you're on the run doing way too much, and I'm totally guilty of this, you could have make yourself a sandwich and have a good lunch, but instead you pour a cup of coffee and throw a candy bar down your throat so that you could get on and do more tasks. There's no shortcuts here. There's no shortcuts. You've got to start investing in yourself, Pisces, first and foremost. Once you start investing in yourself, these situations, people lying to you, people not following through with their promises, frustration kind of energy, and even areas where you could be lying to yourself. If you're in situations where, you're ignoring glaring issues, the universe it's not going to tolerate it anymore. This is the karma that's breaking. And I love it because the way that she's kind of encircled, when I talk about boundaries, like this is a great example of a boundary, because this is where you become untouchable. Because your self-care, your emotional well-being becomes so flipping important that everybody else's bullshit can't even touch you, right? Anybody else's stresses, anybody else's frustrations, anybody else that's not in their emotional intelligence right now simply can't get to you. This is like the most zen and protected place that you could be. And this is your superpower. Because this is when Pisces clears all of the drama out, clears all of the noise, all of the everybody else's needs, and you kind of really just get back to yourself. You, who you are, how you want to feel, how you want to look. This is about your identity. This is about who you are and how other people see you. And Pisces is not the wishy-washy, be there for everyone, whatever you need person. Pisces is so emotionally intelligent right now. They're seeing the big picture. In this place, in this safe place of loving yourself unconditionally, forgiving yourself, and going after the new beginnings, because this is all about the new beginnings, right? Old things, this energy, people taking you for granted, this goes away by the end of July. It's not an issue anymore. And when you clear that out and you realize, wow, I have a lot more time, I can start to really see where I want to take this, where I want to go with my life, where does my career want to go. If you have friends that are driving you nuts and people that are so needy in your life, you cut that shit away. You get back to basics. You start really focusing on you and making the changes that you need to make. And the overall energy, Page of Swords and the Ace of Wands. There's such an innocence with that Page of Swords, because the Page of Swords is never afraid to say the things, right? If you look at the Page of Swords, it's kind of like listening to a child talk. They don't care what other people think. They just ask the questions. They don't really take the time, I mean, if you look at it, and I say this as a mother, I could be in the kitchen with like 1,000 things going on, and my son can come in and say, Mommy, can you get this? I need this right now. And he's not looking at it like, oh, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I can't ask, maybe Mom's too busy. No, he doesn't care. He just says the things that he needs. And there's something really beautiful in that. There's something really beautiful in being able to just say how you feel. Just communicate your needs. Even if it is childish. Even if it is, I'm just going to get in my car for 20 minutes and go for a ride to clear my head. Even if it is just getting into something new. You know, the Page of Swords is also somebody who is curious and wants to learn. Maybe you want to start to take some classes. Maybe you want to try some new things. Maybe you want to meet some new friends, you know? And the Ace of Wands is that these new ideas that you're having, and I just see this as a feeling of being so much lighter, right? Not carrying all of the other people's burdens, everybody else's needs, you know, and like all of the excuses. I see the Page of Swords as no longer having excuses. Well, I can't take that class because that means so and so can't go here twice. You know, like I get it. I get the schedules. I get how hard it can be. But something snaps in the month of July and your needs become really important. And they lead to really big things. They lead to new desires. They lead to maybe meeting new people. You know, maybe you're a single mom and you're so bogged down and all of a sudden you say, wait a second, no, I need more time for myself. I want to start dating. I want to get on that website and start to meet new people. Whatever the situation is, you become the forefront of your story. And I don't see like it's been that way for a while. I think Pisces has been in the back seat, kind of allowing everyone else's needs to navigate. Now you get to step in your power. Now the universe hands you an opportunity to sort of clear the decks and redesign how you want these relationships to go. The thing is, it's really not scary. You're going to have to tap into your strength. You're going to have to set the boundaries. You're going to have to say the things. You may need to cut people out. You may need to cut things out. You know, this could be as simple as saying, wow, again, me personally, I spend a lot of time looking in my phone and trying to keep up with the news, right? There's so much news pouring in. And so what we used to spend 15 minutes a day checking in, what are the big stories, what's happening? Now I'm like a slave to my phone. I'm like, oh, a news alert. And maybe just that. Maybe just setting off those alerts, maybe just turning down that noise will give you enough time to make yourself a priority. It's all about your priorities. Your oracle card. The moment I realign with love, clear direction is presented to me. Yeah, I can't express this enough. The moment I realign with love, the moment that I align and this is those boundaries, that I start to protect myself. I protect my emotions. I protect my heart. I protect what matters to me. I protect literally my body. My health becomes number one priority. And it really clears up all of the confusion. If you have people in your life that are sort of spinning out of control because you've made yourself a priority, well, then you start to realize those people really are not in your best interest. Those are the people that can go away. Those are the people that aren't serving you. Though that is a waste of time. And the thing is, this Queen of Swords energy, she doesn't even know what's happening. The simple act of putting yourself first, of drawing these boundaries, this simple act of these little changes is really giving birth to something so new and amazing. The golden egg and the unicorn. The golden egg is the Ace of Wands. It's those things that start to come to life the more you give yourself time. It's the thoughts that enter your mind when you're actually taking the time to meditate and honor yourself. It's the new relationships that you form because you finally decided to take that yoga class, and maybe there's a best friend there that's gonna really change your life. Maybe it's deciding that it's time to, get a dating profile up and start to make your emotional and your love life a priority. And the second that you do that, the golden egg, the new beginning, it's like destiny. It's already yours. The universe is just waiting for you to figure out that you deserve it. And the unicorn, this is energy. You're not settling anymore, Pisces, and I feel so proud right now of the way that you're taking control of matters, because the unicorn, this is something that you didn't even know you believed in. It was just sort of a myth. It was like sort of this life that you knew other people maybe had, but you would never imagine it for yourself. You would never imagine the kind of happiness that the universe is trying to hand you. As soon as you decide that you're done doing all the things for all the other people, as soon as you decide to walk away from maybe the friendships or the relationships that really are sucking the life out of you, the universe is going to give you things that are beyond your wildest imagination. These things are cooking right now. And all you have to do is shut off the noise and honor yourself. Take those leaps. I don't know, you will know what it is, Pisces, those things. Maybe it's that thing that you've said, if I just had more time, I would do this. We'll do it. Mars in Aries, second house, do it. Now is the time. It won't come quickly, because what you're building is going to stay around for a long time. The boundaries that you set now for yourself, the way that you recreate your relationships so that you're a priority, this is a theme that's going to stay with you for 20 or 30 years. This is a whole new cycle of karma. This is where you realize all the mistakes that you made in the past. You start to really look at how things went down and why, and you accept the accountability, and you say, oh, well, people have been treating me like shit because I've been treating myself like shit. I've taught people to love me this way, that I can give and give and give, but I don't really have any needs in return, and that is bullshit. That's this, and that's ending. And now you start to demand more from your relationships. You start to ask for the things that you want. You start to say, I'm not going to settle for this. I deserve more. You say it, and then you believe it, and then other people believe it too. It always goes that way. You do it, and then you start to believe in it, and then everybody around you starts to believe in it too. Really beautiful energy, Pisces. Man, I just can't get over the feeling I have of almost like goosebumps, like this is it, like this is the time where things really start to happen for you. Make sure it's what you want. Make sure it serves you, and don't be afraid to dream really big right now. Don't be afraid to ask for the really big things. All right, Pisces. I hope it's a wonderful, wonderful July for you. I'll be talking to you more. I'm really looking forward to your August reading. If you take a moment, please, to hit like, subscribe, share the channel. It's starting to really grow and pick up momentum now, and that makes me feel great that I could reach out and help more people. So just a little thing like hitting like can really help others and raise everyone's vibrations. All right, lots of love. I'll see you in August. Bye, Pisces.